We are back with another Something from Nothing cooking. I was challenged, and this time I wasn't quite sure what the hell to do. Let's turn this way and I'll show you what I was given. We start with some bean threads, which is totally different than noodles, but it can work the same way. Ginger and garlic paste, I mean, how can you go wrong? Bamboo shoots, mushrooms, baby clams. Now, to me, you can throw all that into a wok with a couple of other things and it's a stir fry. A little easy. Didn't want to do that, so I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And then it hit me. Empanadas. We're going to try something a little different. So, to this today, we're going to add definitely some soy sauce and sherry, some breadcrumbs, some empanada wrappers. We've got some carrots here, some leftover pork loin. We got some hearts of palm. We got some fish sauce. We got all kinds of ginger. We got mushrooms, and that's just the beginning. I'm sure we're going to add more to it as we go, but we're going to make empanadas, and this is going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work. Follow me. The big glaring giant bulbous thing in the middle that I didn't say anything about, this one right here, that's Napa cabbage. Okay, so we've got our mushrooms open. These look totally weird. They look like, I mean, what the I've never seen, whatever. No flavor. Bamboo shoots, I'm sure you guys have tried them before. They just take on the flavor of whatever you're eating. They're, got a crunch to them. I know that was gross, but whatever. Clams are not even going to open right now. What the fuck ever. So right now I'm just taking a couple of these carrots, and it's a simple chop. Make sure you hold your hand like a claw. If it's uncomfortable, you're doing it right. I'm going to turn them this way and cut along there. And the rest of these vegetables and mushrooms and everything that we're going to put in there, we want to be about that same size. You don't really want to get much better than, or bigger than that, because this is all going in an empanada filling. So that's about it right there, and we'll be back. Same things with the bamboos. I would not put as much bamboo as carrot. Right into the bowl it goes. Okay, I decided it probably could use a little bit of onion, so I'm just going to take a quarter of this onion and slice right down it a few times. I don't need too much onion. I just wanted a little of that flavor. So I'm going to match about the amount that I put in of the bamboo. So there just isn't much flavor to bamboo. These disgusting little mushrooms, man. They're slimy and they're really, really, really wet. So I don't want those in my empanadas like that. So that's a little bit better. They're sticking to the paper towel. That means that you got a lot of the moisture out. That's good. These also have zero flavor, but they do have crunch, which is interesting. They almost grass-like in texture. Anyway, all into the bowl together. Some Napa cabbage. We don't want these hard parts right here, so you just cut those off. Now that you've seen how to do that, I'm going to do a couple of those pretty fast. Same size as everything else. Last but not least is our mushrooms. Now mushrooms will always get smaller as they cook, so I always like to get a little bit bigger amount. Chop them down to even squares, but bigger pieces than the rest of this. They will shrink quite a bit. We're going to take this lovely ginger garlic paste, mix it in with my vegetables. There's about a tablespoon. It's pretty potent, and you can always add more. You can't take away. Also to that, I'm going to add a splash of soy. A small amount of sherry. 2 caps. small amount of fish sauce. And we're just making this up, man. I don't have amounts that I'm doing here, so you'll notice about how much I'm putting in. Same thing. Now we are going to take 1 heart of palm, cut about 1/4 of it off, and eat that. That's amazing. Drop that in there. A little bit of salt. Pinch of pepper. See how that tastes. Pretty good. Obviously get a new spoon each time you try your food, but always try your food. Okay, so if I'm being honest, the bean threads were the part that I'm really like, how the hell am I going to incorporate that? Because there's so much weirdness with the mushrooms and stuff in here that adding extra noodle-like quality to something that has so much noodle-like quality, I just don't really want to do. So I figured, maybe we'll experiment. We're gonna fry them now. These don't cook like normal noodles, so you have to put them in a bowl of hot water, warm water, for 10 minutes first. Then we're gonna use a strainer inside of one pan. We are going to have some boiling hot noodles in this pan, and we're going to experiment and see if I can make this shit work. If I can't, then I have a plan B. But we're going to try first, and it's going to be fucking interesting. Okay, so this is going to be the interesting part. If you look over here, our noodles have been soaking for 10 minutes. I used 2 of the 3 chunks that come in the package. I saved the other one. We're going to do something different with this. We're going to use that for a different application. We'll use a couple applications. But you see how weird and glassy these are? These are just something totally different than your regular noodles. Now they're not done cooking. Normally, and you'll see with these, when we get to this point, you throw them into boiling water for about 2-3 minutes, and that's how these become done. But for this application, what we're going to do is, I'm going to take these and put them into this strainer. And I'm just going to spread them out like this. We're just going to let that strain out for just a second. Shake or so. And then we're going to see if this is going to work or not. But we're going to take this boiling hot oil right here, lift it up. What I'm going to do is just dump this over the top. And I'm going to keep straining this over the top. What my intent to do here is to fry these noodles and make them crispy. Okay. They definitely look crispy. They've changed their shape and their color. We're going to let that sit. In the meantime, we're going to take these and put them in our water for 10 minutes because we're going to use those for a completely different application. We'll see where this goes. Fuck it. It's something from nothing cooking. We'll be back. What's up? We're back. So things took a left turn like things always do when you're making it up as you go. So those other noodles I just wound up putting, I chopped them up, I put them in here. I didn't want to, but they had such a different texture to them than most things. I was like, okay, well that actually might be pretty good. So we're just going to mix those in, and that'll actually make for a different, interesting Chinese texture, I guess. There you go. So told you that we had some leftover pork. We're going to cube this up, and here is our clams. What we're going to do is we're going to start with pork, cube that up, put it in the pan for a few moments, get it good and heated, throw this in. All we're trying to do is just get the carrots soft, just a little soft. That's it. We're going to pull it all back off the fire and put it all in this bowl and let it sit. Just before you pull it off the fire, and only just before you throw in your clams, because those are going to go back in an oven later. You can eat them raw. We're going to cook them twice. So anyway, I'll tell you how to use that here in a few minutes. I'm going to get this cubed up and into the pan, and we'll see you in a second. Here we go. Oil in the pan. Pork in the oil. Pork in the oil. That should be a song. What are you doing tonight? I'm pork in the oil. Let's already see that pork, that rosemary, garlic, this has some time, this is salt, pepper, they didn't make pork when it's not pepper, important salt, pepper, no, there's much crazy with going to the Asian flavored fish. Anyway. Water. About a quarter of a cup. 5 minutes. Two minutes. Okay, for the next part of this, you're just going to leave this in the strainer, letting all of this create all of these wonderful juices underneath it. I'll show you what to do with the breadcrumbs in just a few. You will definitely need some all-purpose flour, some empanada wraps. You'll need 1 egg. This is 2 tablespoons of water. It's 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of water. You mix those up. You will need a surface with some flour on it. This is something from nothing and I don't have anything else, so we're using this. You're really wanting to use everything you can use in your pantry, so this is what we're using, folks, and we're going to make this work. Alright, so now for the breadcrumbs thing. Here's the deal. We're cooking with what we got, so this is Italian style. You don't want a ton of this because you don't want a ton of that flavor. You probably will have to re-flavor this, I'm imagining. We'll see what happens here. But what you want to do is get enough breadcrumbs in here just to soak up some of that liquid. Remember, we're going to put these into dough, and so we don't want it uber liquidy. Most of our liquid is leached out by now, thank God, because we're going to use that for something different, and I'll show you guys that in a few minutes. But you just want to kind of coat that just a little bit. Let's see. In order to get it back where it was flavor-wise, pinch more soy. Remember, you don't want to make this liquidy. Pinch more fish sauce, just a pinch. The rest of it's got to be dry. So we're going to go with salt. We're going to go with pepper. And on this, I'm going to use a little bit of garlic powder because I can't put in that wet garlic that we put in before. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Now that we've fixed it, let me show you how to put it together. We're going to take our empanada. What you want to do is you want to put a little toward this side. And that's it. And not too much. You want to make sure you have room on each side. Now, set it down on your flour. You want to take the egg wash and just wash around here. And you really don't want too much on there. And you really only want to do one side. We'll bring this over to the other side and make sure to stuff it. Once it connects with the other side, you're going to press it flat all the way around. Just like that. Then you're going to take a fork and dip it in some flour. And you're just going to press. And what this does is not only does it make it look pretty, but it locks your dough together. Okay, and that's number one. We're going to set these aside. I'm going to make a few more and we'll be back. Okay, so we got the empanadas ready. We got our oven heated to 350, and what we are going to do is take the rest of our egg wash, and each one of these is going to get a back just right across the top of it. Doesn't need to be as much as I just made on the first one. You really just kind of need to just give it a good bit of love. Make sure they're not touching each other. And we're going to do that with each one of these, and we're going to put them in the oven for 25 to 35 minutes, just depending. Now I'll get those ready here in just a minute, but in the meantime you want to take all these drippings and you want to put them in the pot. You want to add just a little bit more fish sauce, not a whole lot. You want to add just a touch more of soy, not a whole lot. At this point you want to make sure not to make it too salty. This is to taste for sure. In a moment you're going to get these into the oven, you're going to put this on, and you are just going to heat it to boiling and then turn it all the way down to low, and we're going to make a sauce out of that. And then I'm going to show you what the hell this is and what we're going to do with it. So those will come out of the oven. They look freaking amazing. We're going to let those cool for just a minute. Over here we got our sauce. It's been bubbling away, so I'm going to show you how we're going to plate all this up. Let's go back over here to this weird thing. I've done a lot of this already. We're heating this up with this blowtorch. This is all those beans that I put in the filter and fried. And what they did is they created this bowl. It's crispy already, but we're making it a little bit more crispy, and we're reheating it with this because this makes it pretty. This is just for presentation. We're not going to eat this. This is strictly to make it look good. We're just going to hit the whole thing. Like I said, I've already been doing this for a few minutes, so it's pretty hot. You know, this last little bit, and I'm going to show you how we're going to plate this up. Dude, please. Pretty fucking righteous for the bullshit in my fridge. And the challenge at hand, I say it's met. Shit's awesome.